Here's how to change a tire. A little more detail. I have a short video. I'll put it up here. Real quick version. But basically my F-150, 2016 F-150, it's got a nail hole on the basically inner sidewall almost. But you can kind of see where the bubbles start coming up. So I tried patching it, didn't work, so we're gonna go ahead and put the spare on it today. I'm gonna show you all the tools you're gonna need. Let's start off with a pressure gauge. Show your pressure in your tire, because usually when you put the tire on the spare, you're gonna have to adjust the pressure. Then you're gonna need an air compressor, some way to put air in the tire if it's low. And then you're going to need your jack. So for mine, the tire ironer and the jack is behind the seat in the back seat. I'm pretty sure it's the same even if you have the full-size door, and I'm not sure in the regular cab. I guess just the seat folds up in the, the passenger seat. All right, don't mind the Cheerios. Anyways, right here there's a little thing to pull, and that unlocks it from here, right there. And then I put those back there, but your jack's down here, and then it's one of those things where it's like it slides in, so you kind of have to push it to the side and then pull up. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. I'm not sure. There we go. So it goes towards the driver's seat and then up, so you can see the little things where it slides in. I don't know if you can see it down there, and then that's everything in there. So that's going to be your jack and all the stuff to get down through the hole here to drop your spare tire and everything. All right, so as you may guess, in my line of work, I have put this spare on a few times, unfortunately, because nails and pallets go hand in hand. So let's get to it, guys. All right, guys, so step one is just going to be to get your spare tire down. All right, so when you're looking at the back of your truck, you'll see, you got the thing for trailers and all that. And then usually there's a little round piece in here that has a key in it. Last time I had to put the spare on, I left it sitting right here, so it's floating around somewhere. Anyway, so you put your regular truck key in there and then turn it. Mine's in the ignition. And then that just pops right out. Put it inside the truck so you don't lose it like me. And then this is where your pole's gonna go through to get to your spare tire. All right, so this is real simple. There's a couple Velcro straps that just tie everything together. Pull that off. This kind of just sits on top. Open this up. You got your tire iron right here. And there's also your crank for the back. And then this is what you use for the jack and the thing in the back to lower it. All right, let's get to that. All right, so all I did was connect these two pieces together. So see, there's just a square and they fit in with that little nipple there. And then that's going to be long enough for the open end to go inside there, and then you turn it. So then you put your thing on there. You can lock it in if you want, and then you're going to turn it like that to go down. So this deal is kind of on an angle like this. If you look through the hole, you can kind of see it's a wide opening and then goes into a smaller hole. I missed it. find the hole. There it is. So if you see, like, it's at quite a bit of an angle when you're putting it in there. So then you're just gonna let it down and be to the left, because all right, and as you can see, as I do this, the tire comes down. I'm going to go all the way down to the ground and then give it a little more slack, because you have to get the center piece out of there that holds the wire on. See, so it's already hit the ground. I do a few more turns. All right, so now we're under here. You can even hear the tire hissing. That's crazy. Anyways, this is why I said do a couple extra turns. You don't want to be struggling with this, floating on this. So if you can't fit your hand through there, you can lift the tire up and turn it and push it through, but I can fit my hand in there. And you just turn it sideways and then pull straight up. There you go. Set that to the side, pull your tire out. All right, now that I got the spare out, go ahead and check the pressure. And we're hitting 30, so we need to add a little bit. It's supposed to be 35. All right, right at 35, good to go on there. All right, so next we're gonna set up jack placement, just get it in the spot. We still gotta break the lug nuts first, but mine has a little picture on here, you know, show you where. If yours doesn't, just look in your, you know, Google it or look in your glove box for your guide, and it might tell you in there. Or, I mean, sometimes you can even just see the spots underneath the car, exactly where the indentation fits. So, but I'll show you where mine goes. All right, guys, so as you can see, just go right there. I just crank it up by hand. No need to pull this thing out until you have to. So you just crank it to the right, and all right, and we're just barely just putting it up against there. All right, so we pulled this out. You can leave this exactly the same, and then you just do the same thing how you hook the other one together with the little nipple, slides right in there, and then this hooks right onto the jack. All right, and then that hook fits right in there, and then that's how we'll turn it. But before we get going on that, jacking it up, we need to just break the lug nuts. So let's get to that. So all you need for this is your tire iron. We're just breaking the bolts. We're not taking them completely off. We're just loosening them a little bit, so when it's up, it's gonna be easier to take them off. So give yourself a little leverage. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? All right, guys, so we ran into a situation here. Good old Ford with their funky ass lug nuts. For some reason, my tire iron, it's like it's too small. It won't go on there. Cause I don't know. ChatGPT said it's because, you know, it's the sleeve on the actual nut and it expands, I guess, for some, you know, I don't know. Anyways, she suggested, because the regular Ford one is 21 inch, so she suggested a 22 inch. I just happen to have this, thank God. So if it's on there, there's a little play, but I don't know, we'll get it done. Basically all I'm doing is just breaking the lug nuts. So I just want to loosen them just enough so when we jack it up, it's not going to spin, you know, it'll be easier to get it off. They do suggest going in a star pattern, especially when tightening, so that way it's kind of even all at the same time. Try to give myself as much leverage to start it. So bam, that's it. We're just breaking it. We're not taking it all the way off or anything. And then move on to your next one. All right, so we have our lug nuts broke, jack in position. Just gonna take our tire iron with the little hole, slide it on there, and then we're gonna turn and start jacking up the truck. So we're off the ground, and all we got to do is get the lug nuts off. So it might move a little bit. That's why we broke them beforehand. So we might have to give a little pressure on it, but then I just get them to finger looseness, and then pop it off and get the tire off. Make sure if you guys are enjoying this video, you give it a good like, and if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Sometimes the bottom one, it kind of pushes out, the tire pushes out on it, so it might snug up. You push it in a little bit at the bottom. And now the tire is loose, and we'll pull it right off. Make sure you don't lose your lug nuts. And then all you gotta do is just pick up on it at just a hair, slide it out. And then we put our new one on. All right, so our old tire's off. Got our spare. I try to roll it up as close as possible, so you don't have to lift it as much. You can mess with the jack and try to get it right at the right level, but I just find if you just line it up, it just slides right on there. All right, I'm gonna throw the rest of the lug nuts on there. I usually put the bottom one on first, or something close to the bottom, so it keeps it from popping out like that while you put the rest of them on there. All right, guys, so these are just hand tight, and then I just snug them up just a little bit. I'm not gonna crank on it while it's up on the jack. Just give it a little. Oh, I forgot the stupid. Now that we have the lug nuts tightened up, we're gonna go ahead and drop it down, and we'll tighten them the rest of the way. So it'll go back towards you. Well, the way I do it is I don't let the jack all the way down, just like, probably 90% of the way, just so there's a little holding it up still. Tighten up the lug nuts, drop it the rest of the way, and then double check them. So we'll get to that. All right, guys, cranked them down. I'm just gonna lower it down the rest of the way, which it's probably just a couple turns. And I'll double check, make sure all my lug nuts are not loose or anything. All right, I almost forgot. Don't be that guy with the dangler. Get that cranked back up. You put it, the same way we took it down. You just crank it back up. It has that spring on it. So if you crank it up enough to that point there, it'll push the spring up, and then won't be flopping around down here. I see that all the time where it's just dangling and scraping and sparking and stuff. There's what that tube looks like. So when you're sticking it through that hole in the front, it goes right in there. Like I said, it's at an angle. All right, I just wanted to add that because you don't want to be that guy where it's just dangling. All right, guys, so I just wanted to add in these center caps push out from the other side, and then you can put your regular tire up underneath the truck. So, all right, so here's center cap. Just has those little nubs on it, and you just kind of push in and push down, and it pops right out. Then it looks like that. Your front facing part of the tire goes up. Same with the spare. And then you just crank it and put it in there just the way you slide it sideways and goes straight down. And then you can lift it up. So, all right, guys, and there she is, safe and secure up under there. All right, so just to add a few things to this, I'm on a very flat driveway, and if you're on any kind of a slope, you probably want to use some wheel chocks. So something like this that goes, you know, between your tires and the road there. Something like that that goes, you know, keep you from rolling backwards. And then also, it's not a bad idea to have a jack stand because, you know, just another line of safety, you know, it can't hurt. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna call that a wrap. We got it changed. I just gotta put up all my tools in the back of the truck, but you see me take them out, same thing, just in reverse basically. So anyways, if you got some value out of this, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more how-tos and pallet stuff and all that good shit. And leave me a comment. Let me know if I screwed up or if I should have done something different, or just let me know I helped you out, if nothing else. All right, guys. Well, till next time, thank you for watching. And if you're subscribed, I love you.